just like that, we're podcasting. Faith, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, we're really psyched to have you today. I know that we're working here with the admissions team and putting together just an A list of alumni, current students, faculty, sort of fans of MSU Northern, and your name definitely percolated to the top of the list here. So for our listeners, I know I just gave a quick introduction, but I think I'd love for you to just introduce yourself and what you're up to in 2022 here.
All right. Yeah, my name is Faith Hill. I'm currently living in Lewistown, Montana with my husband and my brand new baby. I'm working as a civil engineer for the USDA and just kind of loving life.
Wow, congratulations. How old is the young one?
4 months.
4 months. You're in the thick
She's
of
growing
it.
like a weed.
Yes. Well, congratulations. And thank you for carving out some time for the podcast. I know that the clock is always ticking with a 4-month-old. So civil engineering, I know we talked a little bit before the podcast about MSU Northern and how it is renowned for agriculture, diesel technology. And then when people say civil engineering, MSU Northern often isn't the first college that comes to mind, but talk to us a little bit about why you chose MSU Northern and why Havre.
Yeah, so when I was searching for colleges, I knew I wanted to go into engineering. That wasn't the question at all. So I started looking at School of Mines in a couple different states, those types of big engineering name schools. And then my mom is from the Highline, and she said, you should go check out Havre. So sure enough, we come up and take a visit. And after my campus tour, I just really felt at home, and I was like, this is the one. If I can get the education that I want and need here, but still have this great community. When I was taking my tour, our tour guide Michael would walk into any old building, and people would go, hey Michael, how's it going? And he'd be like, hey, so and so, how's your dog Fifi? You know, they just, everyone knew everyone.
Mm-hmm. That's really neat. And so you mentioned kind of coming from Miles City, or maybe you didn't mention that and I just took that from our pre-conversation. So Miles City to Havre, and now you're in Lewistown, Montana, which for those that don't know, Lewistown is in the dead center of the state, right? It's the geographical center of the state.
That's right.
Then, okay, cool. I got that right. I'm like, is that right? And all these towns are sort of similar. What is it about the Montana towns that maybe isn't a Billings or a Missoula or a Bozeman? What is it about these size towns do you enjoy?
Yeah, so I really enjoy these size towns. They're kind of, I still consider them a small town. You kind of have that small town feel. There's no streets that are over 35 miles per hour, you know, but they do have street lights in these medium-sized towns.
Right.
So yeah, you still have amenities like Walmart and that kind of thing. Like it's not in the middle of nowhere, but you also have that small town feel where you kind of can easily find a community and get to know folks around you and that kind of thing. Plus, I come from an agricultural background, and these 3 towns that I've lived in so far have ties to agriculture, so you can kind of see that.
Yeah, which is sort of a neat part of the culture here in Havre is there are those agricultural programs, and there are those diesel technology programs where you walk by and they're working on the biggest John Deere tractor you've ever seen. But there's also just across campus, I just actually was walking around touring a bunch of the buildings here. There's the education program, there's the integrated health science programs, and then there's the engineering program. So talk to us, you know, if I'm a parent listening to this in the car and my student is in high school and they're going on the college tours, they're going all over. What was it? Do you remember? I know on that tour you said, you know, it felt right. But do you remember sort of feeling like this is something that other schools don't really offer? Is that this experience here in Havre? Do you remember feeling that at all, or was it a hard decision, or was it pretty easy for you?
After I toured, it was kind of a home run. Yeah, it just felt like more of a community, whereas one of the other schools we toured, they said, we put signs, like if they're advertising for a campus event, they put them on the sidewalk because engineers look at their feet and, are like the typical engineer. Um,
Uh,
so, so you kind of get a more of a mix, smaller town feel with kind of friendlier folks that kind of felt like at Havre. And then once I actually started here and got into the program, it was awesome. We had, by the time I graduated, by our sophomore year, there was 5 of us that, well, we called ourselves the Engineering 5 plus Garth. So there was 6 of us,
6.
and we had all of our classes together from our freshman year all the way to our senior year, and that it was just the 6 of us, in our engineering classes. So it was really focused, you know, with the professors and that kind of thing. Plus, you got such a relationship with those guys. Like I send them all Christmas cards and that kind of thing because we had such a relationship. We could lean on each other for help with homework and projects and that kind of thing. Were pretty easy. We had a good thing going.
Very cool. And so help me understand what it is a civil engineer does. I feel like that movie, what is it? Where it's like, what exactly do you do here? Office Space, I think. What exactly does a civil engineer do? And how did MSU prepare you for the career that you're in today?
So when I was in high school and my mom said, Faith, you probably want to be a civil engineer. And I'm like, Mom, what's that? I don't know. Her description was just, designing roads and bridges, that kind of thing, taking kind of the math and the geometry and putting it into a structure that you can, see and feel. I have taken my degree and gone kind of into agricultural engineering. So I design stock water pipelines and irrigation systems. So I do a lot of like pipe flow. Some of my other classmates have gone on to highway design, and then just kind of the typical roads, bridges, engineering work as well.
Interesting. Yeah, that certainly requires a lot of extensive knowledge. I'm thinking, okay, if I was put in charge of irrigation and pipe flow for some, agricultural firm or for a farm, I'd grab a pickaxe and start digging. Am I on the right track? Probably not.
Well, eventually there's some digging involved.
Probably.
Yeah.
Eventually there would need to be some sort of trench dug. Okay. Good to know. And we also talked, you are, if you don't mind me, how old? And you also are a homeowner in Lewistown, which in the state of Montana, for those that don't know, our housing prices have been skyrocketing, but you've graduated from MSU Northern. You met your husband at MSU Northern. You have a home in Lewistown. You love Lewistown. This is a great success story, which I think is why they wanted me to talk to you. But of course, this is something that students think about. Like, how am I ever going to get out of student debt? How am I ever going to get on my feet after graduation? But MSU Northern provided you with some opportunity there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my husband and I both got our undergraduate degrees at Northern. So we walked away with a degree and combined very little debt. So now we bought our house last year at age 23 and 24.
Wow.
Which I guess we're pretty plumb happy with.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. And talk a little bit about how you got connected with your current job. Was that through the support of MSU Northern? Was it throw a dart at the map and hope for the best, or how did that work?
Yeah, so I started interning as a sophomore in college. After my freshman year, I guess, going into my sophomore year, which really I got connected with that again through my mom. someone ran into her in the grocery store and was like, hey, your kid should apply for this internship. So that was a very small town deal. Since then, I know that we route our internships through the career center at Northern, so he can get hooked up that way. But yeah, I interned for 3 summers, and then that rolled into a full-time position for me. The coolest thing I think about doing that internship was in that first summer, not only was I able to immediately apply things that I had learned in the past year, but also I was learning a little bit of stuff on the job that when I came back and took fluids the next year in class, then I was a little bit a step ahead because I had just kind of learned it on the job. And so there was a really cool give and take there that I enjoyed.
Yeah, the value of internships is sometimes immeasurable. When you can learn on the job like that, it often is the best experience, as you found out. When we talk with parents, sometimes in higher ed, they're always concerned, well, what is there to do on campus, and insert any campus here. However, probably folks can scratch their head and say, what is campus life like in Havre? Is it a commuter school? If I live on campus, are there going to be any other students around? Can you talk about your experience a little bit in that way? And did you live on campus? Did you find that there was things to do? And if so, what kinds of things did you get involved in?
Yeah, so right away I got involved in a lot of clubs. I did live on campus in the dorms my freshman year, and then in the student family housing after that. So really I lived on campus all 4 years. Yeah, so I jumped right into clubs. I was in a Northern Ambassador, Student Senate, dance club, stock growers, our engineering club,
Goodness.
Chi Alpha, our campus ministry. So I kind of went that route and jumped into all those clubs and that kind of thing. So oftentimes those clubs were putting on events like a giant slip and slide during the first week of school, different game nights and dances and stuff in the sub. Those kinds of things were kind of always going on, trivia nights. And then the other fun thing is when I lived in the dorms, if you were bored, you kind of just like wandered down to the rec area, and there was always someone else around. So you could either start playing pool, hang out, watch TV, or a lot of the times it was like, hey, do you want to go to the Bear Paws? And so you jump in the pickup and drive 20 minutes out to one of the lakes or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think folks appreciate just how close the Bear Paws are to Havre. It's like 15 minutes outside of town. I was driving down today into campus off, I think there's a number of hills, just above town, and I could see the Bear Paws, and then Havre was below. It was incredible. I was thinking, this is one of the most photogenic parts of the state that everyone probably thinks, oh, Glacier, and drives right past them, but they're right outside of town. I should take a picture and post it on MSU Northern social media that it's like, here's Havre and here's a snowy peak right behind it. We're recording this in February, or late January, so there's some snow on the peaks, but today was a beautiful sunny day. And that's I was just gonna say, I mean, the Bear Paws have a Beaver Creek Park, so it's a county park, like a state park, and you can just go hike around, and there's 3 different lakes back there for fishing and kayaking, and you can, all sorts of things. It's a pretty fun place to hang out. Amazing. Yeah, so cool. Faith, for folks who are curious about civil engineering and about the different kind of technology programs that MSU offers, what would you recommend they do? It sounds like a campus tour was a big win for you. If they can't make it to campus, do you have any advice for students who are thinking about civil engineering?
Let's see. The advice I got when I was looking for schools was, if you can't go visit it, look on their website and see if you like their website, because that maybe, kind of correlates to liking their school for whatever reason.
Yeah. but definitely get to campus.
Yeah,
You
I
got to
mean,
go to
that's how
campus, right?
you really, yeah.
Yeah. But
Plus,
what,
they
and
always
if
have
I'm a,
coffee, so
oh, with lots of coffee. And if I'm a senior in high
there's coffee
school,
everywhere.
right. If I'm a senior in high school, junior in high school, and I'm considering civil engineering, what would you tell that student? And they're just
Um,
overall just about the civil engineering, going into it as a profession. What should I be preparing myself for?
I think it's a really broad field, honestly. It doesn't really put you in any small box. And so there's a lot of things you can do with a civil engineering degree. Um, I personally really enjoy it because it's problem solving, and you go from here's a problem on the ground. You can then go out and probably generally you do a survey with survey equipment, get some information from the field, come back to the office, do a design, and then someone goes and builds it, and that's just cool.
Super cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe you have me thinking about a career change. Faith, I'm civil engineering. Here we go. Uh, Faith, thank you so much for taking time out of a busy new mom schedule. Oh my gosh. So thanks a ton. Was there anything that I didn't ask you that you were hoping I would ask, or did we cover quite a bit today?
Well, that last thing, talking about engineering, did kind of bring to mind the cool thing about Northern's civil engineering degree. It is a civil engineering technology degree. So that just means that it's more hands-on learning, and less of the theory. You don't go to Calc 3, all that kind of thing. But you can walk away from Northern and be just as qualified as any other engineer. You can take your fundamentals of engineering exam and then go on to be a licensed professional engineer. So you can get to the same level as going to any other school. And I think that that's something that you don't think of right away when you're like, oh, it's a tech degree, It's not a real engineering degree, but it is.
That's a really good note. Great to know for those curious, interested in pursuing you call it a civil engineering technology degree?
Yep,
Yep.
that's the full title.
Very cool. Faith, congratulations on all of your success and continued success. And thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Northern and Beyond. If you have any questions about getting started at MSU Northern, feel free to contact our admissions office by visiting msun.edu. You can talk with guests, professors, and schedule your campus visit. We know the college search process can be complicated. We're here to provide clarity. So come visit our campus, talk with our team, and experience the remarkable programs happening on Montana's Highline.